Welcome, everyone. This is Donna Sharp with Holistic Wellbeing. Thank you so much for joining me here again on day 469. I do pray my volume is actually up where you can hear me. So, tonight, this is a continuation of speaking from a book called Three Steps to a Strong Family. All right, and it's by Stephen Covey. So, what I've been talking about over the past couple of days is the whys as to how to develop a great family. Hi, Miss Wanda. Welcome. And then I spoke on the don'ts, right? On the whole family structure, creating a family structure. And tonight, what I'm going to be speaking on is in pursuit of the ideal family. So what does an ideal family look like to you, right? What does an ideal family look like to you? I'm sure you can mention several things that first comes to mind. The first thing I'm going to say is discipline. That's one of the words I often find that stands right out in my head. Is children have to be respectable when they're working with their parents. The other thing is a schedule, is having your children on a schedule, right? Having the whole family on a schedule so everyone's doing things in a timely fashion. The other item is also respect. You want to make sure when you have your children, they respect you to a certain degree. And that's to a greater degree, right? And there's a lot of components that makes that up. One simple thing that I'll tell you that gets me every time is when I hear parents call their children and they answer them, what? I'm telling you, in the Caribbean, we can't answer our parents that way at all. We can't say what. You are bound for a good spanking if you answer somebody what, right? So it's yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir, yes, mom, yes, dad. But respect goes a long way. And it doesn't just go a long way when it comes to developing your family, but it goes a very long way when it also comes to a relationship between a man and a woman. Men, that's one of their ultimate things that they look for is respect. It's not love, it's respect. So quite the same in family dynamics when you have your children and they're growing up. It's nice that you make sure you draw the line when it comes to how much they're going to be respectful to you and how much they're not. Wherever you draw that boundary, the line between you and your children is going to determine how far you go as far as a relationship with your children. So try to keep that in mind. So what else constitute the ideal family? Predictability. Sometimes you have things that you know you're going to get done in the future and you're just kind of imagining what that would look like instead of putting some kind of action plan and plan behind it, right? So you don't want to just haphazardly go through this whole family dynamics thing, but you have a plan of action that supports it. So here's what typically happens, right? In the pursuit of the ideal family. Those are some of the items I mentioned to you. But here's what you typically may see in a family, right? You may see chaos. I think I mentioned that word to you guys when I heard that several years ago. I never really thought of it that way. You'll sometimes hear people say, oh my goodness, that's a dysfunctional family. Well, what does a dysfunctional family look like, right? So I had to think back on that and I was like, wow, that's pretty interesting. Very, very interesting. So I have to look and see when they say that, what do they really mean, right? Well, in pursuit of the perfect family, you won't see some of the items that I mentioned to you, which would be ideal to have. You may not necessarily see that. So you may see chaos. You may also see orderly notions, unrealistic dreams that people may be putting together for their family, and it's not necessarily the dreams for that particular family because, as I mentioned to you, every single family is different. There's no two families that are alike. You have families that consist of more children and some with less, right? What the Joneses are going to do is not what the Smiths are going to do. So you never try to recreate your family to match someone else's profile because everyone has a different family made up of different lifestyle. So that's something to keep in mind. There's different values, there's different beliefs, there's all kind of different things. So I'm going to encourage you that the pursuit of an ideal family may not necessarily happen. Now you can do the best that you possibly can and mature these children to learn to respect, love you, and honor you in the interim of you trying to teach them some good values, right? So I'm going to read this story to you. As always, there's a story in here. And I want to cover something with you after that. So when we started our family, I had some idyllic ideas. Replacing the restless, shiftless, single life would be the purpose, teamwork, and organization. Somewhere in my subconscious were things I wanted. The military efficiency and shared responsibility of the Trapp family in The Sound of Music, the calmness of Ozzie and Harriet, or Ward and June Cleaver. Some of these things I don't even know about, maybe before my time. Cleaver, the words of a church song, right? Roses bloom beneath our feet, all of the earth garden sweet, making life a bliss complete. Ooh, when there's love at home, all right? So I also imagine that it would be easy to avoid the kind of negative family behavior and discord that I'd seen and captured as bad examples in my mind. Parents swearing, answering their children's question with, because I said so, sibling bickering, arguing, fighting, and one particular mother I'd seen at the mall dragging along two small boys. When one boy poked the other, she smacked him across the side of the head and yelled, "I'll teach you to hit your brother," right? So that's just a little short story. They typically share these short stories just to give you an idea of the item that I'm speaking on and how well it matches the story. The story is there to pretty much streamline the ideas that I'm telling you and make it fit so you understand it better. If you understand what I'm talking about, right? So here's something I found very interesting. Reality sets in too fast, especially with both parents working or going to school or both. Single parents try to do everything. Being too busy and too tired, we wonder how much we really like our own kids, while feeling guilty that we enjoy being at work more than we do being with them. We catch ourselves saying the very things that we said we'll never say. Reality sets in. As we get into the real parenting, we also will feel the need for something simple, workable, and practical, for something that can save us time rather than make us busier, for a way of setting limits and of teaching children the right kind of obedience. So guys, when you're parenting, we don't want to make this complicated. We want to make, hi Kim, welcome. We want to make it very simple, very streamlined. You don't want to set your standards so high that you can't even reach it. You know, you don't want to, there's a saying that we use sometimes, don't hang your hat too high because then you can't reach it, right? So be very objective, but at the same token, be realistic. Don't try to create something that you're not going to be able to follow through on, because the whole idea of any kind of plan of action is making sure that you can follow through realistically, because you're setting good timelines that's attached to that, right? And as you know, when you have a SMART goal, you have to have a timeline attached to it. You never ever want to say, I'm going to do this, and you don't say when or how it's going to take place, because now you've negated the fact of setting up a very strong and sound goal, right? So that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. It's short, simple, and sweet. Tomorrow I'm going to go into the objective of this whole parenting ordeal, right? And I'm going to speak specifically to family laws. We started to talk on family laws, and I explained to you how it's nice to have a sound structure in your family, because when you have something you can go by, you can always deviate from it, but at least you're starting off with something organized, so everyone is on the same page and things are not haphazardly done. So tomorrow I'm going to go into speaking on the objectives from his book, and we'll cover the topic of the family. We'll talk about the objectives first, and then we're going to go into the family law, so you get a better understanding of what that should look like. Like I mentioned, this topic may suit you best because you have children. It may not suit you so well because maybe you're thinking about having children, or you have nieces and nephews that you consider your own and you want to help instill some values in them, and you can also use it and apply it in that regards. So that's all I wanted to share with you this evening as I continue to speak from the book 3 Steps to a Strong Family by Stephen Covey. And I'll be back again to speak with you some more, to shed some additional light. In the meantime, I'm going to encourage you to share this live if you liked what you heard. Also love it, comment, ask me questions. It's always good to know that you're actually in the thought of what I'm speaking about. You're not necessarily just soaking it in, and then the live is over and you forget everything I just spoke about, right? So when you get more engaged, then that's where you can interact, and I can try to see if you're on the right track. You know, sometimes you misunderstand what an educator is speaking on if you don't get clarification for yourself. So that's all I had for you today. It's 469. If you guys join my live later on, I'm going to encourage you to type replay and also put some form of a comment to let me know what you got out of it and that you've actually watched it live all the way through. So until tomorrow, Kim, thank you for joining. Wanda, thank you for joining. Anyone else who may log on later on, it was a pleasure to have you. I do pray that you are looking forward to your Easter Sunday tomorrow. Listen, guys, we can't congregate as a group, but I will tell you time and time again that God is in control, all right? God is in full control of everything that you are seeing. But I will also tell you that I'm going to encourage you to keep your eyes open, because there's many of what's going on right now that's taken place 10 years ago that was already in plan of action with what we're going through now. So if your eyes are not open and you're not being very observant to what's going on around you and what's coming, you should have some form of idea of exactly the next step and where they're trying to take us. If you don't, you better do your research. That's all I can tell you. It's not pretty, all right? But do understand that what the man is putting into play to happen, God is always wiping it out. So be on your best dress tomorrow. Find a church home to go to online. Dress yourself up and get on that live stream, because when prayers go up, blessings come down. That's all I have for you guys this evening. I'll see you back again here tomorrow. Have a fantastic evening and a wonderful Easter Sunday. Ciao.